with sound. Like 4 minutes of streaming. This is what's so terrible about streaming.
Yep.
The one time, it's like, we're running behind. We don't want to be late. You know what? Let's just get started. Sam, you go start without me and I'll join the stream later. It's like, okay, cool. 5 full minutes of streaming, not realizing my mic was broken.
And didn't you
I feel
say
so bad
it's
for the
going to go one of
people.
two ways tonight?
Hmm?
You said it's going to go one of two ways tonight.
Yeah, I did. We're very unprepared today. So
Yeah.
I said either A, it's going to go amazing, best stream ever, because we were unprepared. Or
One of the people who was watching, who was that? I can't see. Oh, Willa. Hold on. Willa was trying to watch.
oh, did she
Hold
message
on. My
you?
computer is being a jerk. There we go.
Oh, yeah. So we're definitely a little unprepared this week because we went to the border today,
Yep.
which is a 2-hour drive each way.
Yep.
You wonder why people don't make it out to the protests is because it's in the middle of nowheres.
Yeah.
For that one, anyways.
It is.
Yep. That's YouTube letting me know that I'm live in case I didn't realize.
Oh yeah, anytime I post something to Scribbler, Facebook makes sure to let me know. Pretty interesting because I interact with Scribbler a lot.
A page you like has posted something.
It's really annoying.
It's like Facebook knows you're an admin. Like, can they not figure this out? This does not seem like a
They don't even have
difficult
to
thing.
log out. I just click my face and it switches me to the other one.
But yeah, so we went up to the border today. There's about 20 people there, I'd say.
Yeah.
I know Cole Hutchinson from Druthers News is up there full time, living in his truck now.
His truck.
I know Tasha and Tommy Everett are up there all the time. Mm-hmm. They're kind of the ones who spearheaded it. It seems.
Yeah.
There was definitely a group on, I think it was a Facebook Messenger group, is where it kind of all started. But so what people tuned in for first time around and didn't actually hear was the breakdown of what the timeline of events leading up to the blockade were. So first, it started on May 27th. So May 27th, New Brunswick published their reopening plan, which included reopening to the rest of Canada. June 11th, so what's that, like 2 weeks later, Ian Rankin asks Higgs to delay reopening to the rest of Canada. Right? He doesn't want to bubble with somebody who's, going to open to the rest of the country. And the next day, Higgs sends a message back, says, no, we're going to honor our commitment. We promised our constituents that they could have people over, and, you do you, but...
And the CMHO over there said, no, we're following the science. We're doing exactly what science would indicate we should be doing, what we said we would do. Yeah. And so they're following the science.
So New Brunswick says, nope, we're not gonna delay our plans. So that was the 11th. Sorry, that was the 14th. Sorry, the 14th. The next day, the 15th, Ian Rankin says, hey, we're going to open the bubble a week earlier than we said originally. We're going to open it the 23rd instead of the 30th. Okay, cool. And then he signs off on a marketing campaign. So we spent, the province spent about $18 million to advertise to the rest of, New Brunswick, PEI, Newfoundland, all the bubble provinces, telling them, hey, take your summer vacation here this year. Come visit. So what did people do? They booked hotel rooms. They booked cottages. They made travel plans to come visit Nova Scotia.
They did the same thing before they shut down the border completely the first time.
Yeah.
They told people to move to Nova Scotia, then shut the borders and wouldn't let them move here.
Yeah. So that's June 15th. So June 15th, we're saying we're opening early, and we're advertising to people saying, hey, come visit Nova Scotia, spend your dollars here because we need it.
Yeah.
June 22nd, 9 hours. Well, no, 9 hours would have been 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The briefing started at 3, so probably 8 hours and 45 minutes before the restrictions were set to release. Rankin says, oh, yeah, we're not going to do that. New Brunswickers, you don't get to come here. You have to follow special vaccination or quarantining. And that's the whole point. You know, you can
Wasn't
still
that the
come
day I
here, but you
saw
have to
Strang?
quarantine.
Wasn't that the day I saw Strang at the intersection too? And he
I
was running
think
late.
so.
Yeah.
I think so.
It was like 2:15, and I'm thinking like, dude, you got to be to work in like 45 minutes. You should have had your coffee already.
Yeah, you saw him at the drive-through, Tim Hortons.
Yeah, at the Tim's.
Because we live in the same community as Dr.
Yeah.
Strang. You
Mhm.
know. So yeah, he didn't even tell New Brunswick, hey, we're gonna make you guys quarantine if you come here. Now, nobody coming to Nova Scotia on vacation or coming to see their family members wants to go quarantine in a hotel for 10 days
Yeah.
before, or even 7 days before they can start enjoying themselves. I mean, what's the point?
Yeah.
Right? So what happens next is people go and start blockading the road. Now, Elizabeth Smith McCrossan, MLA, PCMLA for Cumberland County, joined in. She even went on Facebook and said, we need to do this. And they blockaded the road for 3 hours. Tim Houston was originally supportive of her. Rankin essentially ignored her, hoping she would go away. After about 3 hours, they reopened the road. And Elizabeth told everybody, okay, go home. Don't block roads no more. I'm going to go sit outside Rankin's office and wait for him to speak to me. Problem is Elizabeth didn't organize this protest.
No.
So,
and the organizers are kind of getting really mad that Rankin's giving her their credit. And they're like, no, we did this. She didn't do this. She had no part in this. We did it.
Yeah. So, Tasha Everett, I think she was on the injunction, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She put on Facebook, she said, I want to make something absolutely clear. Elizabeth Smith McCrossan had absolutely nothing to do with the blockade of the Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border. Our group was 100% responsible for shutting it down. She encouraged us to end it, but we refused to back down. So please don't take your hate out on her, but instead those of us who were responsible. So this is the thing. So she told everybody go home. And they went, screw that. And they went to the actual border. So the original shutdown was near a highway exit. So what police did is they just rerouted traffic around. Yeah, some people got stuck for a few hours. One trucker there kept blowing on his horn for, ever. Just laid on it until they let him through. But that's what they did. So they went to the actual border and they shut down the border. They put vehicles blocking the border so nobody could get in or out of Nova Scotia. There were no exits you could go around. There was no alternative ways. Some people, if they really needed to, they could have gone around to, I think it's Tidnish Bridge or something like that.
That one at one point was blocked off too.
Yeah. So
Tidnish, Watley, and the border were all blocked off at one point.
Well, Mount Watley has been blocked off by the government for months. That's the one they put the rocks in front of.
I think they removed that.
Okay, I don't.
Yeah, I couldn't keep up with it anymore.
I don't have the full details on it.
Yeah.
So they have this. Now they have this border blockade. Now Smith McCrossan has gone to Halifax and is waiting outside Ian Rankin's office. He hasn't said anything about meeting with her. He's just going, you know what? No, She's going like, we're going to meet with you. Period. End of story. Meanwhile, he's off, down on the South Shore touring movie sets.
And
I don't know,
announcing
maybe.
a new grant he's going to be giving the film industry too.
Well, he's campaigning,
Yeah.
right? There's an election coming up, so he's starting his campaigning by giving out government money to whoever wants it so that they'll vote for him.
Yes.
Because that's what it is. It's contingent. Hey, I'm going to announce all these new things that we're going to give you when we're reelected.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Funding announcements should be banned like within 6 months of an election.
Yeah.
Right.
Although
Funding announcements should be banned. Right. The government loves to make funding announcements. Hey, here's how we're going to help. Here's where we're going to give money to. It's like, no, stop it. You're only doing an announcement to boost yourselves.
Yeah. That will be great.
Yeah. So Rankin spends the day on Twitter from the South Shore yelling at Smith McCrossan. Smith McCrossan sits outside the province house, and meanwhile, on the border, the actual protesters who have little to nothing to do with Smith McCrossan are sitting there arguing with police and blockading the border. Now, one thing that's happening too is there's a lot of people there going, the Cumberland Health said, well, our nurses and doctors can't get here to work, so we're on emergency only. Even Rankin said that schools were canceled because people couldn't make it to work, which was actually completely wrong. Schools were open all day. Nothing happened to schools at all.
Nothing.
I don't know where he got that from. He's very well connected, I guess.
Twitter.
So people are saying, oh, well, they wouldn't let people through. Who wouldn't let people through? Protesters? Well, the protesters actually were letting... who were they letting through? They were letting...
healthcare workers.
Healthcare workers?
Doctor's appointments or medical appointments of any kind.
Yep. Yeah, if you had a doctor's appointment or if you worked at the hospital, they were letting you through.
Do you have that video?
No, I don't have it as video. I just have it as text. But there was a person who, at the Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border, they worked at the Truro Hospital. So this is what they said. I got turned around. There were kilometers of cars in front of me as well. I had an RCMP officer approach my window and ask where I was going. I replied, I worked at the hospital in Truro. And they said, I probably won't get through, so turn around. Well, the protesters were letting people through, and they're very clear about that. They were letting anyone who had a health appointment, anyone who had important medical supplies, or anything like that, healthcare workers, they were letting them through. Right? They're not going to mess with people's actual health. But the RCMP were there turning people away before they even got to the border.
Yeah.
So a problem of their own making.
Yeah, well, the RCMP had the highway blocked off at exit 4, and we're turning people around at exit 4. And then, so you've got the police not letting anybody get past exit 4, and then you've got Strang getting on TV saying, oh, the protesters aren't letting anybody cross the border. It's like, but almost nobody's even getting to the border.
Yeah, and there you can find plenty of videos of protesters. We've even posted some protesters who were letting people get through the blockade.
Yeah.
They were happy to move their cars for important reasons. But that's not the story you're seeing on the mainstream media. And this is why we do Scribbler.
Yeah.
Right? There are some alternative newses out there. All they want to do is talk about conspiracy theories and things like that. And what? Sometimes the conspiracy theories turn out to be true, but we're trying. Yeah.
I'll read the conspiracy theories, but I generally don't agree with them.
But what we're trying to do is we're trying to get out the information that the mainstream media just doesn't want to say, that they won't report on. There is no CBC reporters going, hey, by the way, it was the RCMP who were stopping people before they got to the border and protesters were letting them through.
No, because they've got a spin they need to maintain. They've got a way of thinking that is expected of them, and they can't veer from that at all.
Yeah, and there were a lot of people who were on TV and interviewed and things that weren't even part of the original group. Thanks, Sharman. There were people there who weren't part of the original group. What they were was people who saw what was going on. Ian's coming through. I said seen, and he just instantly glares at me like, I saw. I seen-terated. Yes, you can have that. So anyways, but there were a lot of people, they just saw that the protest was going on, so they went up to join it. And you ended up with a lot of people who were there. They were, anti-vaccine. You had some people there. Yeah. There were people there who were there to protest against masks, but the original group was protesting the border restrictions. And they were almost exclusively not the ones interviewed.
Yeah.
The people who were interviewed were the people who were, I swear they tried to find the craziest ones they could.
Usually, yeah. And they're the ones that are usually like clamoring to get at somebody to talk to.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, this is the thing too. There's a lot of good people up there who are just absolutely sick and tired and frustrated with not being able to see family members who live 10 minutes away because of just random rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then Rankin gets on these stupid briefings and he says stupid crap like, well, I've got family I haven't seen in a year and a half too, so I have to wait another week. And it's like, okay, dude, you didn't have somebody draw an imaginary line between your house and your mom's house or your kid's house. You didn't have somebody come and draw an imaginary line between these houses and say, "Oh, by the way, you don't get to see each other anymore." Like, that's insane. They're literally neighbors. It's two counties that are neighbors with each other. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely ridiculous. And the whole thing, Rankin spun it for political gain. He put it all on Elizabeth Smith McCrossan. And then, spineless Tories went and kicked her out of the caucus.
Oh, yeah.
He originally had support for her. He didn't support the blockade, but he supported her standing up for her constituents until, he met with the caucus and they went, hey, this looks bad on us. And they went, sure. So then they unanimously kicked her out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then he has to backtrack.
Yeah, and then he went and he slandered her. And I mean, the stuff that was going around on the internet against her, nothing about her position. I mean, Bruce McKinnon, I think it was the cartoonist, when he made the cartoon, it was a cartoon of a van blocking the highway, and it said MLA Smith McCrossan, and two cops talking to each other. One cop goes, originally I thought she was had broken down, but it turns out she's just got a couple of screws loose. Okay, that's nice. But there were a lot of people saying things like, well, that's just a woman to be hysterical.
Oh,
or there was people who were calling her fat, people who were calling her like all kinds of names, and it's like, and I know it happens all the time on both sides of on all of it, but just well, let's ignore what she has to say and just mock her as a person.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she's still in Halifax.
Yep.
She's still sitting outside Province House every single day. Like, I mean, this lady is tough. She's
Yeah.
out there protesting in an orange vest and high heels.
Right? Like, that would. No. Like, she went straight from work right to that road in work attire. And it was pretty impressive. I especially respected the fact she could do it in heels. I can't even stand in heels. Okay. Like, I mean, this lady, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. So she was kicked from the Tory caucus. I said, I formerly was a member of the PC party.
Mhm.
I've helped in election campaigns. I said to him on Twitter, to Tim Houston on my personal account, I said, I've helped campaigns, I've helped your candidates, I've built you websites for your candidates. When you had the leadership election to elect a new leader, I met you in person and I disliked you. You remember I told you that.
Yeah.
It's like I don't like
Yeah.
him. I couldn't figure out why. It's just like I don't like this guy. He seems fake. I know why I don't like him.
Right? Because he's not a
And that's
Tory.
what I said to him. I said, when I met you, I didn't like you, and I didn't know why, and now I do.
Yeah. He's not a conservative.
We don't have very many conservatives anymore. This is the problem. I've said it before. It's not right versus left anymore.
No.
It's freedom versus authoritarianism. So,
Yep.
border got opened up around 8 o'clock. They arrested 3 people, was it?
Oh man, I don't know.
Oh, we have to be allowed to talk
I
about
don't
that
know. Let me
soon.
see if I can get an answer on that.
Yeah, I was going to message. So we know who one of the PPC candidates for the area is. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely hilarious, but we're not sure we have permission to talk about
But
it
that's
yet.
up here.
Yes. Yeah. Anyways, so
Usually takes a while to get an answer, so I don't know.
yeah, I don't know if we'll have it. Then hilarious, good.
Well, not bad. Like I don't think. I think it's just. It's like, of course.
I mean, I can think of the slogans already for this candidate.
I think we've already heard some of the slogans.
Yeah, now that he's decided to run.
Oh man.
Oh.
Oh my.
So, so yeah, the other bit of news too that we wanted to share with you this week, unfortunately, has not advanced to the point where we can share it yet.
Yeah.
There is still some very exciting news coming, hopefully. But the unfortunate part is there were some delays in the background that has made it so that we don't have the actual ability to share the news yet.
Oh wait, I
All right.
think we can. Hold on.
Which one? Both?
Hold on. No, the candidate. Hold on. Oh no.
Oh, don't. What?
Hold. Just talk, okay?
Talk, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. So we went up to the border today. And like I say, there were some people there. RCMP were there. Sorry. Yeah, so it was kind of comical while we were there. So the RCMP were sitting in the median, There was a turnaround spot there right by the
that was
border.
really funny.
It was funny. The cops left for a couple of minutes. Must have gone to town for coffee or something like that. And 15 minutes after they left, some of the protesters realized that they'd gone, so they ran across the road and started protesting in the median. I think they were there for 2 minutes before the cops had
Barely
actually
even
made it
got
back.
there. But even the cops were laughing. The cops, like, they just turn their lights on and they pull into the median and they're
It's
like,
like,
they get out
no.
of the car, they're laughing. They're like, guys, you know what we're gonna say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was
So
really funny though.
it was comical. They sent them right back over there.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, hold on. Oh, stop that. I have to give it a second. Nope, not gonna work. Okay.
so another thing I realized we learned through this too is in PEI, they're actually making you get tested to get on the island.
Yeah, I knew that already.
Yeah, but you like, I found a video where somebody tried to drive onto the island and like they were not allowed to get on the island without testing. It's like, no, you need to drive over here. You can't drive down this road. You need to drive over on this road or we're gonna stop
Yeah.
you.
Like they properly have it completely blocked off over there.
You cannot get on the island without a test.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
What is the restrictions to go from Nova Scotia to New Brunswick though? I can't remember.
I don't know. PCR is a genetic test, and it's against the law to discriminate based on a genetic test.
I have to look into
that's
that
true.
one. Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of this stuff is untested. It hasn't really made its way through courts. I know Wednesday is supposed to be when the injunction has its day in court. So, and this...
Yeah, that's still going through.
And this is the thing. Sharman says, how are they getting away with this? This is the problem, is what they do is they make a change and they strike first, right? So, like the injunction was done as an emergency ex parte injunction. Okay, meaning they didn't have to tell anyone, they didn't have to defend it in court. Injunction's dropped. We'll get there in a sec. So they did that, and that's something you can do if you believe that there is an imminent risk. You can get an emergency injunction. You can get in front of a judge in no time. To remove an injunction or to challenge an injunction requires a court case.
Yeah.
Which takes time. The injunction was dropped, but the lawyers, so the injunction was, you can't drop an injunction, right? The government requested that it be dropped.
Yeah.
So they go to court. The judge in that case said, yes, we'll drop the injunction. The lawyers for the Canadian Civil Liberties Association said, okay, but we would still like to argue it in court. And the judge and the government lawyers said, well, we're dropping it. It doesn't need to go to court. CCLA says, okay, but we need to test this and see if it was legal, so you can't do it again.
Yes.
And the judge said, I'm not going to rule on that. You've got a court case June 30th. It'll be up to your judge in that case to decide whether to proceed with challenging that injunction. So we'll find that out on the 30th.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be allowed to challenge it. Again, we've got two really good lawyers on it. So there's a good shot.
The judge.
I know,
That's the only thing that matters. It no longer matters how good of a lawyer you are. You could be the best lawyer in the world. If you've got a bad judge, you're done. That's it, because that judge has sole power over how everything goes. And it has nothing to do with logic at all. It has nothing to do with a good argument or a solid argument, as we saw in like James Coates' case, where it wasn't a charter violation. The Crown prosecution gave zero evidence. When he asked them to elaborate and say, what is your point? explained to me how it was not a charter violation. They said, I'm almost quoting them, because it wasn't. And then
And
there
this
was a
is
really awkward pause of silence in the courtroom, and the judge realized that was their answer. It was insane. They gave nothing. He was on the side of the defense the entire time. A few weeks later, comes out and says, "Nope, not a charter violation."
well, this is the thing. So that judge, the JCCF, put an article out about it saying
Hmm.
essentially this uh, this way he handled it. So when he actually had the case, what the judge did is non-standard, right? There's a certain way you're supposed to test these things, and he
Hmm.
didn't do it. He ignored, you know, all the tradition and all the ways it's normally done and just made up a way to do it on his own.
Yeah.
But this is how they get away with it. One, they have the power. Two, they have the media.
Oh
And
my gosh,
three,
so funny. Sorry.
they have the court systems to tie things up. And even if they lose in court, whether they care, they've gotten the time they needed most times. Okay. We've been in this for 16 months. Nobody's had a real court case yet. Tim Stevens is still in jail. June 30th, I think. Is that when his court case is?
Whose?
Tim.
The 28th? Was it the 28th?
Right, the 28th.
Yeah.
That's not his trial. That's his court
Yeah.
date to set a trial. We don't even know if he'll be released then.
Yeah.
And this is
No,
what's
yeah, it said he was in jail until his court date. So we'll know more after that.
yeah. I mean, I can't imagine they leave him in because July 1st restrictions are gone in Alberta. They're
Yeah,
completely open.
exactly.
And if they decide to leave him in, it'll be July 1st when his lawyers challenge it
Yeah,
again,
yeah, exactly.
right?
They'll get him out
We,
pretty quick.
we hope. And then
Well,
come
they will, because this isn't the sword the government's going to fall on. They're going to nail him with like the new hate speech bills they're putting through.
So there's your other thing. So when it comes to court cases, so we've got those Chinese scientists.
2 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
So you made me lose my place.
I did.
We're talking about lawyers and court cases and how they
Yes.
can tie things up. So Justin Trudeau just did an unprecedented thing. He sued a party member,
Yep.
the Speaker of the House of Commons. Justin Trudeau is suing the Speaker of the House of Commons. Like,
We're praying too, Sherman.
yeah.
Sorry. Keep going.
Because the timeline of events. So these two Chinese scientists are fired from a lab. I think they escaped to China, right? Kicked out of the country. Government's trying to find out what happened. Trudeau won't let him know, won't say. Okay, so the House, I don't think he is, and that's the
He's
problem.
actually he's brilliant, and he's incredibly intelligent. Idiot is not the word I would use, but I won't use the word I would use.
Devious, controlling,
No,
evil.
I'm thinking. I have a very deep bag of curse words.
So he's supposed to be giving out this information. They refuse. This is like the first time, like one of the first times where ever House of Commons has demanded information, and the government's just like, you have the right to do that, and no.
Right?
So they applied to the Speaker and say, okay, Speaker, get us the information. And the speaker's like, okay. And Justin's like, actually, no, we're going to sue you, so you can't say anything. So now it's got to go through the court case. Now, is Trudeau going to lose the court case? Almost certainly.
Oh, yeah. It's another damn
But it's a
tactic.
delaying tactic, because what he's hoping is to call an election. This is what we're suspecting. He's hoping to call an election, win a majority, and then whenever this information comes out that will be personally damaging to him or the Liberal Party, it'll be too late. He'll have already won.
And the only hope we had was freaking O'Toole.
Yep. And then he's going to go and pass Bill C-36. So they already passed C-10, which there are provisions in there we haven't even read yet.
Yeah. I mean, that one's bad enough. That was nothing compared to 36.
So Bill C-10 gives the CRTC control over YouTube, Facebook. Anybody who puts stuff on social media can be managed now under the CRTC. Okay? So you post something to Facebook. If the government body says, nope, that's not okay, CRTC can have it removed. So that was step one. Bill C-36, it is one step further, where hateful speech of any kind can have you be arrested. It's actually insane.
Oh, yeah.
So the way it works with Bill C-36, if you commit a hate crime online, or somebody thinks you might.
Yeah.
That's important. Insane. Somebody thinks you might, has reasonable suspicion that you might. They can take you in front of a provincial judge who can order you to stop saying certain things, take certain posts down, pay fines, and if you refuse, they can have you put on house arrest for up to a year and submit, DNA samples. And of course, they can extend that to 2 years if they feel like, and they can just, keep doing it ad nauseum. So, if you don't think that kids should be given puberty blockers, that can end you up in jail. Now, with Bill C-36, you can go to prison. And the reason it's absolutely chilling. The reason that it's done with not government officials, but if a private citizen sees it, they can take you to prison. They just deputized. Yep. They just deputized Twitter.
Yeah. Like Twitter, the most vile place on the planet.
Like, if Bill C-36 becomes law, I think that's the day when our social media goes away.
Yeah.
Just 100% gone. Delete it all. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you name it. We won't post things ever again.
No. Yeah. Sherman, you nailed it with that last comment. That's exactly right. And it's been going on for a while now. And there's so many Christians that are even now that I'm discussing things with that are saying, but it's for the good. It's for the good. What about these people? And it's like, at what point, like, what exactly is the line they have drawn in the sand that they won't cross? It scares me sometimes. And it's like, I don't know. What is their line?
Yeah. But this is the thing with Bill C-36. There's going to be a lot of people going to prison over that.
Yeah. That one's gonna be, that one's insane. That's scary. That is the one bill so far that has scared me.
And here's the thing too, is talking about Justin Trudeau. I read an article today. It was written in 2014, before Justin Trudeau was elected. And it was about Justin Trudeau will be a dictator if he's elected.
Yeah.
because he was already doing it before. If he needed a candidate in a certain area to win, well, he made it happen. He would, you know, there would be mysterious problems with the election. There would be, pressure put on everybody. There would be inconsistencies in voting. Whoever he needed, that's who was elected.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one who said he admired China's basic dictatorship because they could get things done.
Right? That was nuts.
But it just showed who he is, not was, is.
Oh, yeah.
Justin Trudeau believes. I'm not going to say I know what he believes. I don't try to read into people's, internal thoughts. He acts as though he knows what's best for everyone.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with him, there's no chance you're right. That seems to be his behavior. And I don't know.
Nope.
I don't know. So the only hopes we have is, one, Bill C-10 hasn't passed yet. So it passed the House. They shut down debate. They did whatever they could to keep it going. They forced it through. They rammed it through. It went through at 1:30 in the morning. And it's gone on to the Senate. And they told the Senate, just pass it. Right? We don't need a debate. We don't need it. Just pass it. Okay. Well, fortunately, the Senate went, no, we're not going to just pass it. So they're starting the process of trying to get it debated and all the things they have to do. If Justin Trudeau calls an election before the Senate passes that bill, it dies. All bills that are not passed, as far as I can understand,
I have heard that on other ones.
All bills that have not passed when the House is dissolved for an election die. They're gone.
Yeah.
So that would be huge, right? It would give us a little more time at least, and hopefully Trudeau does not win does not win a majority, right?
Even if he wins a minority, he still has a majority.
The NDP
will pretty much do anything he tells them to. Singh will get up there and fake complain till he's whatever color in the face. Just he really likes colors, and I actually kind of like that about him. Like he'll get up there and he'll complain and he'll act like he's against Trudeau. But when it comes down to it, has he ever voted against Trudeau?
Not often.
So no, he will do whatever Trudeau tells him to. Trudeau has a majority right now, and he knows it.
Yeah. So we're going to be hopeful that the next election will go better. I do know, I mean, if you look at the results of the last election, going into it, it looked like it was going to go one way, and it completely flip-flopped. I think it was looking like Andrew Scheer was going to win a minority government.
Yeah, it did.
When it was started, and he ended up with a liberal minority government. Yeah. There were a lot of seats that flipped last minute because, well, people switched their voting. But you see that a lot. When election time comes around, there can be a lot of change in what people are deciding to do.
Yeah.
And I do strongly suspect that Trudeau will want to call the election before COVID's completely gone.
It's not going to be completely gone.
No. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I don't.
COVID's not going to be completely gone, but before Canada completely gets back to normal.
Which will be when? When are you thinking that's going to happen?
To the point where people feel normal enough that they're not.
So when
There's going to come a point. There's going to come a point.
So you're saying in the fall, when the fully vaccinated people are allowed to have their old life back, and they can just ignore the fact that all the unvaxxed people are getting arrested.
There you go.
Okay, cool. Now I get you now.
My point is he needs to take advantage of this time where people are still feeling scared. He doesn't want them to start feeling like this is all under control and there's nothing to be concerned about. Because
Sherman, we are on the same page. All of those comments are great.
Yeah. I just did the recent one. But this is the thing, is people don't switch horses in the middle of a stream. You know, they don't switch governments in the middle of a war. They're not going to switch governments in the middle of a pandemic, usually. I mean, it took an awful lot of work on the part of the Democrats to get Biden elected. Because Biden is, well, they just let Trump shoot himself in the foot is what they did. And then they just dumped ballots into every person's hands that they could,
right.
Threw them into every nursing home, you know, anything they could do to get more votes. You know, when both candidates break the record for most votes ever, and one of them hid in his basement the entire time, you know, something's a little off.
Yep.
Dead people. Oh, Sharman says dead people. I gotta say this. When Biden was in Texas, there was a person who followed his campaign bus around with a white hearse, and it said "Biden vote collection" on the side.
It was so good.
Oh, that was like the meme I saw. Said, my friend just found out that his parents voted for Biden. He's so mad he's never visiting their graves again.
Yeah. They were finding ballots from people who died in like the 1900s. Like, oh, it was pretty good. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah. So
these were like actual real ballots. Like this wasn't conspiracy stuff. This was like valid ballots that were from people dead in like the 1900s.
Right. So it's going to be very interesting too, because next week I think we should get the preliminary results of the Arizona recount.
It's supposed to be on Monday. We'll see if we actually get that. Like I'm suspecting it's going to be a whole lot of stuff that we're not going to get to hear because the world would implode because those stupid machines came from a company in Toronto.
Well, this is the thing. Like, they could go through the recount and they could say, hey, you know what? Trump won by a landslide. And you know what would happen is absolutely nothing, because what they would do is they'd go, well, we don't believe that you did it right. I mean, they've been trying to cast doubt on it from the very start.
But
every single article you see says
up in the U.S. It would wake people up here, and where we have an impending election coming up whenever. You know, it's gonna. They don't want people to hear anything about that.
Yeah. So, Trudeau's a mini dictator. We got on to talking about Trump. Why? Did we ever get an answer on the candidate?
Yes, we can say it. And no, he doesn't know what we are. That's what I was laughing about. I asked, you know, we're live on Scribbler. Someone who was asking about candidates. He's like, I was like, can we say who you are? He goes, yes, sure. What's Scribbler?
Seriously, dude? Pay attention. 5 minutes. Okay. You need to talk for a minute. I have to get something set up.
What?
Before we can make the announcement. I have to get something set up.
Oh my gosh, yes you do. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I'm not good at filling space with idle conversation. For all of you who've ever met me for 2 seconds, I'm not very good at idle conversation. Charmin, you might remember this. Totally not my strong suit. Charmin and whoever the other one person watching are, say something.
Woo! 2 people. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'll
somebody's
have
not
this.
helping me. Me either. Ah.
Oh, you guys are funny.
Wait, why is it saying there was something else there and there's not? Oh no, there's not. I got my hopes up for a second that somebody else had said something. It says 2 people are watching. So either
Ooh.
the second person is me, which is entirely possible. How can you seriously not get that video up?
Because I
However,
don't have it saved.
I have not. Okay, listen, I love watching baseball. Like, I'm a total baseball nerd. Like, I don't like memorize crap and crap like that. But I love baseball, and I have not watched it since they all did the BLM jerseys. Like, I quit at that point, and I've lost my taste for sports, sadly. And yes, it was hot out today, unless you were at the border where it was apparently hurricane season. So we did not get really any good quality videos. We're gonna have to like mute them all. No, I love watching baseball. I love watching it. It's so much fun. I can't play it because I get hit with the ball. I get beamed. I'm like a baseball target. Like, it just always hits me, and I don't know why. So I gave up playing when I was a child. Because in the era of everybody gets a trophy for participating, I got kicked off the team because I was so bad.
All right. So
Nice
we all remember this.
Run.
So that is Zach. What's Zach's last name?
McKibbins.
Zach McKibbins, who is the PPC candidate for Nova Scotia. So he's running from cops, now he's running for office.
Oh man. Slogans, like, just right off the bat, were like never ending with that one. Like,
Right. If he gets house arrest, though, if he gets house arrest for that, how is he supposed to?
Oh man. Oh, you met Shannon. Awesome.
Shannon who?
Yes. Okay. Shannon Elson was out at the rally today. Okay.
In
so
Edmonton.
Sherman, clear this up for me. Shannon and Sherman are sisters. Okay. We used to go to church with them in the valley. Shannon got to meet Devin today. Sherman, isn't one of your sisters married to Tim Stevens' brother, right? I think I got that. Okay. I'm waiting. Sherman will answer. I know she will. They're all related. Yes, they are.
Why is Shannon in Edmonton?
Because she has a sister.
Oh, she had visiting? Okay, yeah. So Shannon Meadows. What's the sister's name?
No, it's not Shannon Meadows.
Shannon Elson. Sherman Meadows. Shush.
Really? Oh, I got it right? Okay, what is your other sister's name? I think that's the one I've never met her. Is that Anne?
Anne.
Is it Anne?
Yeah, so Anne, Sharman, and Shannon.
Whose son is getting married?
Probably Anne's. Oh, no. Shannon's son is getting married. That's why Shannon's out in New Brunswick or Edmonton.
So
it was a long day.
Wait, Shannon's son is getting married out west? I didn't even know he was out west. I still remember him as being like a 15-year-old kid.
That was a long time ago, though. But we have a 15-year-old kid now.
I know, and he was like 5 when we went to that church.
No, he wasn't.
No, because we had Rennie. We had just had Rennie. She was like under a year old.
Yeah, and she's 10.
See? So, yeah, like...
Yeah, he was 5.
Thank you.
I didn't know Anne was married to Tim Stevens' brother.
I vaguely recalled that. Kind of like half recalled it a little bit.
When you mention it, it's like, oh yeah, she's out west and she's married to somebody.
It takes, Devin, it does not take anything to ruin Sam's train of thought. I've already got
said it before.
On the rails.
I've already said it before. I do not have a train of thought. I have a Roomba of thought. I am going in a straight line until I bump off of something, and then I'm off in a completely new direction.
It's bad. You were talking about Zach.
I was talking about Zach. Yeah, he's running for office. That's kind of cool. He's running for the PPC.
Yeah.
So if anybody caught when Maxime Bernier was on Tucker Carlson, he was talking about his arrest, and he goes, yeah, and I have a candidate in Nova Scotia who was arrested too. He was talking about Zach.
Yeah.
Who ran from the cops and spent 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks before they tracked him down.
It was forever. I couldn't believe it.
They charged him with resisting arrest, I guess. That's what I was saying, though. If he gets charged, he gets house arrest for that, but he also gets elected.
But it doesn't.
How's he supposed to?
I don't even know if he was being arrested at the time he ran, though. Like I'm not 100%.
Yeah, they were charging everybody on the Hill that day.
No, they weren't.
So they were trying to.
Him and the group he was standing in. I might not have showed you. He put out a video talking about it. Oh, what?
I'm staying out of the comments. I'm staying out of the comments.
Imagine that. So sorry, Sherman.
All right, so.
But yeah, so it was like he got bumped and spooked while he was talking to a cop, but I don't know if they'd actually started charging him or.
Oh, they had. So what they did is
there's a video on it.
He turned for a second and they grabbed his hand to arrest him, and he pulled his hand away, and one of the officers lunged at him, and he just kind of backed up, and then he just kind of kept going, and then he took off.
Well, there was one of the videos was somebody was standing really close to them. Yeah. And you could actually see that's exactly how it happened. He kind of got spooked and just took off.
Yeah, so
that was really funny.
Yeah, no, that was good. Okay, so should finish off because we're getting to the end here. So yeah, going forward, I know we've got Ian Rankin is now campaigning. He's making sure to go around and try to spend all of our money on funding announcements so that he can get reelected, making all kinds of promises. Meanwhile, Justin Trudeau is suing his own Speaker of the House of Commons to make him shut up so that he doesn't have damaging information released before an election so that he can win, pass C-36, and put us all in jail.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty much covered?
Something like that.
Yep. Oh, and just so that we don't survive on YouTube, hey, so did you know that viral-induced myocarditis, people who recover from that typically need a heart transplant within 10 years.
Right? Not freaky at all. It's totally normal.
But we don't know because that's viral induced, not the other type, which we're not going to say because we're on YouTube. Hi, YouTube.
Oh,
we are good comrades. We won't say the word.
Should I stop talking because I always say the things that'll get us banned from stuff?
Oh, I really don't care. We'll go on Rumble with President Trump.
Yeah, right. That was pretty cool. I saw that today.
He joined Rumble. I think he was up to 60,000 follows in an hour, which is saying something because a strong heavy
the strong
an account that's got 5-10,000.
Yeah.
So to have 60,000 instantly, it's he's the biggest account on Rumble now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can't put him on any other media.
No, goodness no. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. Just put it on. Put the link in.
Just put it right in where I'm not allowed to chat on here. Wait, on here? No, I'm not there anymore.
On Facebook.
I have to go find it now because computers suck.
No, you suck at computers. There's a difference.
No, you're just wrong.
Oh, and the other really cool piece of news this week. We were on Rebel.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. So Rebel News did an article on the border protests, and they used our tweet.
Well, that's that's just the same as when they take a random tweet from anybody.
Oh,
You see it all the time, right?
I don't care. We performed really well on that one. It was a lot of people. I mean, our original Facebook post for it, what was it, like 25,000 views?
No, that was the one with what's her face?
Yeah, our
yeah.
original Facebook post.
Yeah, I could look here in a second. It was like a lot.
Yeah, it was just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Like
So
the number of people who were coming over.
pin that, pin it. Do it. You're not paying attention.
I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
I'm sort of paying attention.
I told you to pin the thing. So Canada Day. There's a bunch of people up here, so there's a whole movement that's starting. So Zach is actually one of the guys that's heading up this whole movement. It's called Save Canada. If you look that up on Facebook, you'll find the event that I just shared the link to. You'll find a public group, like it's a Save Canada movement. They're trying to get going. So Canada Day, we are having like a massive beach party. As many people as we can get. They want everybody to come. If you're for COVID, against COVID, they don't care. Just everybody come. There's no actual events being hosted anywhere in Nova Scotia, like no real events. They haven't officially, I don't think, canceled Canada Day here, but they are pretty much everywhere else. So we're
Dartmouth has announced.
It's a regular normal. It's going to be family friendly. Just a lot of freedom-loving people hanging out on a beach.
Yep. And yeah, I know Dartmouth has announced that what they're doing is a Mi'kmaq poem reading. In addition to some other things.
Okay, cool.
And I know, and that reminds me one other thing. Anybody who has a church, make sure your insurance is paid up.
Yeah.
There's been 4 Catholic churches have been burned this past week alone in Canada, which is funny to me. Yes, the Catholic Church is kind of terrible, but
they're kind of not Christian.
But the thing is it was the government that sent them there. It was Jean Chrétien. Jean Chrétien was the Minister for Indian Affairs when this was going on.
Right.
Pierre Trudeau was Prime Minister when this was going on.
They knew exactly what was happening. Exactly.
And we need to start
screaming that Trudeau the first was the one that did this. And now you want to reelect his kid?
And this is the thing. It's exactly the same mentality now as it was then. The mentality then was, hey, you know what? We know what these poor, backward savages need, right? They don't think right. We're going to fix that.
Yeah.
We're going to bring them into the 20th century.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what is Trudeau doing now? Well, we need to control hate speech. We need to use the right language. We need to educate these Neanderthals. And if they won't get on board, Bill C-36, we're going to lock them up.
Yeah.
It's the same mentality. We know what's right. We're going to impose our will upon the people.
Yeah.
So, could keep going for hours on that, but I don't want to.
Sharman's just in the comments, like quoting scripture.
Yeah, nothing new under the sun. No,
Nope.
There's not. It's exactly the same playbook.
It's actually encouraging
every time.
To think about it, that even when that was written, that was in Solomon's time, right?
Ecclesiastes. It was, yeah.
Yeah. So like even then, like what's happening now, it would have happened. Would have been the same idea then. So while it looks like it might actually be the end of the world, it might not be. But either way, like this is a normal cycle that the earth goes through.
Yep.
The people of the earth go through.
It was the old saying, hard times create strong people. Strong people create good times. Good times create weak people. Weak people create hard times. And that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
people are weak. They want their Netflix, they want their nice house, and they want to be left alone. They don't want to have to think. I talked to somebody this past week and he had no concept of what was going on. You know, his opinion on the border blockade was, well, they shouldn't have that blocked. Why not? Well, you shouldn't be blocking the road. Okay, well, you know what? I explained to him and
That's what
stuff.
the
He goes,
government
oh,
wants. The government's trying to do, right?
but that's what he said is, well, I don't pay attention to any of this stuff. The man is paying his parents' bills. He's like 27 and works nonstop because he loves it.
Yeah.
He has to help pay his parents' bills right now because of COVID. They can't make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going, he doesn't get it. He doesn't pay attention to it.
They only have,
and I'm not faulting him for that. Like, I mean,
I'm faulting the media for it, because what people do is they go to work all day, and then when they've got like 5 minutes maybe to watch 3 hours worth of news, well, where are you going to go to get the quickest, the most information at the fastest rate? You're going to go to a mainstream news source because they're going to give you the little snippet, and they're going to give you all of the snippets, and it's like this run when you watch the news, right? The headline news, where you just have the anchor sitting there all day running through the same stories for exactly that purpose. You can tune in at any moment and just get your little spiel of all the stories. Well, independent journalists like us, we can't do that. We don't have that capability or capacity. And so people are going to just go to the mainstream news and get fed whatever they're fed and just be happy with it. And they never once stop to question it. And that's not entirely their fault. Like, people are still need to be held accountable for the choices they make, for what they watch, what they ingest, and what they put into their minds. But there's also an element where you would assume that you can trust the news.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've got family who won't talk to me right now because I'm over here screaming, stop watching CTV. It's a conspiracy and they're lying to you, and here's your proof. And they're like, yeah, okay, you're nuts. It's like, oh,
yep.
Good times. All right, you're on your own. Well, let me see.
So,
doesn't matter whose fault it is. It matters what we do with what we have. Yeah, I know. I don't want to. I don't like the world it looks like my kids have to grow up in. It's kind of where my head's at. I'm struggling with that a lot, as I'm sure pretty much everyone else is.
Right. So, yeah. Anyways, we'll keep trying to be the independent news. Do what we can, bit by bit.
And I don't even have time to write up the briefing notes from Thursday.
Oh my gosh.
And there was so much in it, like, you don't even understand. It was loaded, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I can't.
I have so many articles I want to write. You know, we did the article with Chris Milburn recently, and you know, we had a live stream with Chris Milburn. I can't even find it.
It's not out yet. I asked. Okay. They haven't put it out yet.
Okay, we need to find out where it's going to go.
I asked her, and she still has to wait and find out.
But it was a group Zoom call with Dr. Milburn, and one of the things they were talking about was how this is going to negatively affect children long term, how this is going to cause agoraphobia and things like this. And it's like, I want to write an article on that. I don't have time.
No. You work full time. We have 6 kids.
Right? That's like a lot of kids.
Like,
right? It's a lot of kids.
It's a couple.
More
Sherman
than 3.
has more though, right? Sherman, you have more. I think you have more. I can't remember anymore. I know she does. They're all grown though, so it doesn't count anymore.
Mostly. What was her youngest? Yeah.
Her youngest is Rennie's age, remember?
Okay.
Yeah, her youngest was.
No, I don't. I don't remember anything. I don't remember.
Right around. Stop interrupting. Right around when Rennie was born.
If I didn't eat the same thing for breakfast every morning, I would not be able to tell you what I had for breakfast this morning.
4 grown. Man, one of your boys is married now. Did you know that?
I didn't.
I did. I don't have him on my Facebook, but like we have all the same friends, so it pops up every once in a while. It's like, oh my goodness, Johnny's married.
Yeah. Is that the oldest?
Second.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I thought.
third.
What?
Yeah, girl, boy, boy. Right? I know I've got this right.
Okay. Because I know they went and helped me side a cottage one time.
Yes, I got it.
All right. We're going well over time. We got to end
Yeah, I'm
this.
so tired.
All right. So we'll be back next week with, more news,
Yeah.
but at least the perspectives you can't get on mainstream media.
Yes.
And, we'll keep doing it until the point where they don't let us do it anymore.
Stay prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.